Hi, this is Rona, and I have a layout today for 30 Days of Sketches by Kristi's Beautiful Life. This sketch is by Allison McIntyre, and this is what I came up with. I am going to show you a bunch of products that I pulled out, and I'm going to swing back around to that in a minute, but the products that I'm showing you that are in this little case are a kind of a hodgepodge of my favorite things. So fancy pants from way back in the day. I have some foam tape, the 1mm foam tape that I'm constantly talking about. Some of my favorite companies like Seven Gypsies, Kaiser Craft, Prima, Vicky Bouton. There's some 49 and Market in there. Junkets from way back in the day. Just have some little twill there. I have some other ribbons that I've always loved using, and I kind of wanted to revisit. There is also like a label in there, and that one was from one of my favorite companies too, that it just has left me right now. And then I'm pulling out some papers and things. So these are newer products, and one of my June focuses is to use old and new together, mixing my olds and news. So I have this from Cocoa Vanilla Studio these days. It's not new, but it's not as old as some of those from 2008 either. And I also, in that same container, I have been keeping the Cocoa Vanilla these days and the Gingham Garden together with that. And I felt like that looked so cute with my photos, but also with some of the products that I had pulled out. So I'm going to kind of get started. I have already used that old basic gray and matted my photos and cut the cut file, which is just a little castle. Addie is wearing her castles print little twirl dress, or it's a baby dress, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to tell you about that box full of products. So I said it was a few of my favorite things. It was also things that I had more than one of. So like the Vicky Bouton watercolor that you can see in the screen there, I had two of those, exact same thing. One, I had already used, one wasn't open yet. I had two of all of the products that you saw me pull out. I ended up doing a giveaway, and I decided I was going to do a happy mail on my channel. You saw one of the girls or somebody do a drawing. I think it was Addie who did the drawing actually, and the winner was Kristin, and she has a YouTube channel also, and she was our winner, and I decided to go ahead and send her a goodie box, and I was doing my favorite things kind of deal. Well, as I did it, I pulled several things out, and I kept finding things that I had, more than one of. So I thought, this would be fun to make a box for myself and a box for her, and then ask her when I mail it, if she would be interested, since she does have a channel, to do a layout and both of us post on the same day using some of these products. I didn't send any paper. I just sent a box of all of that stuff, and including the foam tape and the watercolors and everything that you saw there, and probably a little bit more because I've already used some of it. The Pink Fresh Studio, I have the dies and then the washi tape, and I love cutting those out. That's been just like an obsession to buy all of those up when they came out, and I love them, but I've got a ton. So I thought that was a great thing to share. So just lots of things like that I had lots of. And so she did agree. Her YouTube channel is in the description box below, and she will also have a video up today using the same sketch. So it should be fun to see what she did. The whole thing was use some of the products there and add in whatever else you want. So add in whatever papers you want, anything else that she wants to add. If she uses a little bit out of the box, then that's great. I decided that these photos looked really good, and I thought they would really pop off of black. And since the watercolors are these Vicky Bouton metallic ones, I thought that'll be also fun to paint on. So I just did a little bit kind of highlighting the two layers that were in the sketch. So I'm kind of placing things how I want them. I have some of these doilies, not sure where I got those. They were with my cocoa vanilla stuff. I have pulled out one of the fancy pants little journaling bits, and I'm going to try and get another one to work in here. The sketch did not call for the layers behind the photos like I'm doing. It did have the um, kind of embellishment clusters, but it didn't have the layers. But I had that scrap of the ombre, and I wanted to use a couple of these out of that little tablet that I also had sent Kristin. That one didn't work. I didn't love being able to see the lines. So I'm going to pick this one, and it has the same the same little border all the way around it that the other one did. And so for the little green one, I just tore off where it came out of the notebook. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. I want to leave some and like crinkle it up and use that. I mean, I have a punch that does that same thing, and I punch paper to make it look like that. So I want to tear one out and just use it as a journaling strip or journaling space. But that's not going to happen on this layout because there's not room for it. But I do like how that added more of the colors. That one kind of has some little polka dots that have all of the colors. So I'm pulling in these Pink Fresh florals, and I knew I wanted to use those, and that is why I ended up using the gold metallic paint, because this has some gold, and you can really see it catching in the lights from my camera there. But it does have, the pretty gold on it, so I'm going to add more gold. I'm just layering things up. Nothing's glued down at this point. I kind of thought about coloring some of those flowers and adding some of that paper, but I'm just running out of room here, and I've had so many ideas of things I wanted to do, and it's not all going to work because everything can't fit as hard as I try. More is more and all that, but everything can't fit on one layout. So some of it has to be saved for another one. So I did send Kristin some of these florals. I don't know if she got as many as what's in that bag because I just sent a few of each one. And that's how many I still have left. This washi tape is actually from the Gingham Garden, and it has the same little edge that is on those two layers behind my photos. And I'm sorry that I'm off screen here, but it's not going to work. I'm going to end up taking it off. And when I peeled it up, some of the black paper kind of stayed on. So I'm going to try it in a couple of other places, and I don't like it anywhere. It's not going to make it at all. I ended up actually even throwing that piece away because you could see the black paper bits on the back side of it. So even if I did put it on white, it probably wouldn't look pretty on white either. It didn't look good on the black. It just got too washed out, and it lost too much of the look. And then I put it over the pink in a couple of places and didn't work there either. So I gave up. I liked it because it was that same little scallop border, but didn't work, so that went in the trash. I have a whole roll of it, and I haven't used very much of it, but it'll make it on a different one. So everything can't go on here. I have to keep telling myself. Okay, so I have kind of what I think is going to be mostly my clusters. So I'm going to go ahead and do my splatters. The water brush doesn't splatter very well. It just holds on to the paint until you touch it to a surface, and it doesn't just, when you flick the splatters, it doesn't work very well. So I ended up getting my fan brush out. It makes the perfect splatters, so I do that. I went off screen, let it dry, and added some adhesive. That's just fun foam on the back of those pictures. I added a little bit of the 1mm foam tape, just like what I sent Kristin and what I use on my channel all the time. I did put that behind several different items. Some of the stuff is already glued down at this point because I did go off screen and do a little bit of that. I'm showing you the 1mm foam tape. I put it behind my castle here. I did find a sticker that was in the Gingham Garden in the project pad, and it was a big floral with a bunch of leaves that have a white border, but then they have like gold. So I cut that all out just to keep the all the little stem bits. So I'm using some of those in different places. You're seeing me place those there. And I did put foam tape behind, the 1mm foam tape behind each of those. And I really liked how that added just a little bit more of the gold. So I have the florals from Pink Fresh. I have that from the Gingham Garden. I have the gold splatters. So I'm trying to just make sure that I have it in more than one place so it all makes sense and goes together. Since this is, the photos are kind of princessy, I thought gold worked perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pick out my title. I think I've got most everything glued down now. So I went ahead, I was going to do Sweetheart because I thought that was very, appropriate for these photos. But I like to do, when I'm doing a title like this, I like to have, one word that's, in the script and then one word that's more, a print text. So I ended up going with Sweet Memories. So I'm going to get all of that placed, and it's going to fit, but it's going to go over that doily a little bit, which doesn't bother me at all. I could have actually moved the sweet down a little bit farther over, and I just kind of followed along as I'm going with the little edges there that I had cut down like they did in the sketch. The sketch didn't have the title going along that curve, but I liked it and I thought it worked out well. So so here's that project pad that has some of the stickers and things that I had used, and you can see the floral that I cut out over there. I'm going to pick out a few little gold heart or gold stars. I thought that went well with my little castle there. I'm adding some black ones that are just like the gold ones, but they're not going to stay. I don't think I take them off on screen. I'm going to go ahead and take them off, and because when I was cleaning up, I found some of the Cocoa Vanilla puffy stickers and phrase stickers that I go ahead and add in instead. So I brought the black back out, and there was a bunch of these little leaves, and I felt like I needed a little bit more black. So I add some of those in. I love that one, how it just kind of draws your eye all the way across, because you read the title and then you can see that, and it just, you look at everything that way. I kind of wish that I would have added a tiny little thin black border around the photo as well. I might still actually go back in and do that. I also have a third photo, and she has like probably the best smile in that one. And I think what I'm going to do, and you're not going to see it because I'm going to do it just right before I put it in the album, but I had ordered some of the, I think they're like flip flaps that other people call them, and I don't know. I don't have any of those, but 49 Market has a new product, and I ordered a bunch of them, but they're not here yet. But I think I'm going to put that third photo right over top of this other photo, and then put my journaling on the back of it, and then so you'll be able to flip it open and then see all three and the journaling. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. It'll be over the one where she's holding onto her feet, which I couldn't decide. I liked all three of the photos so well. The sketch only called for 2, but after I started thinking about it, I've got to have a place to journal, and I just thought that might be a great way to do it. So that's the plan. Look in the description box and click on the link that I have down there for Kristin's YouTube channel, and you can see what she did with the same things. I appreciate you joining me today, and check out also the playlist for Kristi's Beautiful Life sketch series. There's always a lot of people playing along with the same sketch, and it's a lot of fun to see. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.